So about 9:30 today, firefighters were called to the scene for a natural gas leak. When they arrived, they found that in fact there was a leak of some sort. There was some construction equipment in the area. They went inside the building to investigate where exactly that leak was. Sometime during that investigation, an explosion happened, and we know three firefighters were hurt, and 3 civilians that were either inside the building or out, we're not sure, were injured also. All those injuries have been transported to the local area hospitals. Our firefighters are at Legacy Emmanuel and at OHSU. We know that the injuries are all non-life-threatening. We're still in the process of contacting family, and we know that there was at least a couple of it sounds like a couple of broken legs that happened to the firefighters. As far as anything beyond that, we don't have that information at this point.
What was the initial call?
The initial call was for a natural gas leak.
Rich, can you kind of tell us, just describe the explosion and just the amount of force it had that you guys have learned so far?
Yeah, so this is definitely a threat that these guys are aware of anytime they go on calls. All of the companies down here that work near downtown, you're dealing with buildings that have multiple floors. Those gas leaks are always dangerous. If in fact that gas is leaking on a floor that either you're on or above or below, and that gas is able to find an ignition source like it did here today, the amount of damage, as you can see, is pretty catastrophic.
What was the initial response? How many crews showed up for the gas leak? And then when the explosion happened, it seemed like almost instantaneous. Portland Fire just flooded this area.
Yeah. So originally we had 2 crews that were on the scene investigating for that gas leak. About 9:39, there was a call over the radio for a mayday, is what we call it. So that's a firefighter in distress. That call, as we realized after the fact, came right after that explosion happened, and that was followed up by a couple of more calls for assistance.
Do you know, was there any potential warning for the firefighters who were in the building?
No, there was no warning. No, that's definitely the case with those natural gas calls. They have monitors that will indicate to them whether or not that gas has reached an explosive limit. And as I understand it, they had not been indicating that there was an explosive limit at that point.
Is there a connection to the construction on the next block?
That's not confirmed, but we have to assume so. But I mean, 9 times out of 10, we come to these gas leaks and there's construction equipment nearby. It usually means that that was a source of that gas leak.
How did it get inside the building?
I'm not sure about that. That's a great question, though. And that's when we deal with gas leaks, a lot of times we're dealing with those gas leaks outside of the building, and so we'd like to make sure that windows and doors are shut, and then we have to go in and make sure that no gas got in. So I don't know if there was a leak inside the building that was actively pushing gas through there, or if it just literally was stuff that was air blown in and then found an ignition source and exploded.
Rich, can you kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at in terms of, we know the Dosha Salon Spa is right behind us, and then there's the bagel shop. Do you know where the explosion actually happened?
I don't. That's another good question. At this point, a lot of that information is probably going to come to us once they get a chance to actually enter into that area. We have a special collapse team that's assessing to see if they can maybe build some kind of temporary structures and allow people to get in.
What's the future looking like for this intersection? Is this going to be a multiple-day investigation?
Possibly. Another great question that I'm not sure about. We know that we're going to be here the better part of today and tonight. As you can see, the traffic to the area is definitely affected. So I would say to people, the residents down here, just expect that it's going to be difficult to get in and out for quite some time.
And we've also seen the ATF assisting the arson investigation unit. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, anytime there's an explosion like that, and especially with the injuries that we have, it reaches at least the level for those federal agents to do an evaluation of the scene, and that's what they're doing today.
There were reports of a number of explosions. How many explosions did you confirm?
I've only heard of one. But again, we're still getting a lot of those details and a little timeline of what exactly happened.
Is it all folks that you evacuated?
That's another great question. I know that all four of those corners of the intersection have been evacuated. Gas has been turned off to that entire block. So there's quite a few people displaced. Red Cross is here to assess what the needs are for sheltering.
Is there still a fire right now?
There is some small fire that is being put out by firefighters. As you can see, they're putting it out from the street and from the ladder pipes because they can't actually enter the building because of how much damage has been done to that building. Okay, that's all I got for right now. Okay, guys.
On what is happening here with the latest as you take a live look from Chopper 6. Before that, let's go to Courtney with the Portland Public Schools to talk to her about any impact to schools, bus lines, and children in their school day. Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
What can you tell us? Any impacts to schools?
We have a school near the fire site, the Metropolitan Learning Center. It's a K-12 school with about 420 students. We've been instructed by the police department to evacuate the school, so we are loading those students on buses as we speak, and they're going to be sent over here to our district office at 501 North Dixon. We're letting parents know that they can pick up their children if they wish after they arrive, which we're expecting should be around noon.
Did they say why they want to evacuate? Are they in imminent danger, or is this just such
No,
a chaotic...
they said that students were safe, but I think they just want to be, it's out of an abundance of caution, making sure, because it's very close to the site.
And in the meantime, have they just kind of been, we were told that they were told to shelter in place. Is that where they've been?
Yep, they've been kept inside, and, we've got administrators and staff making sure that no one leaves the building. They do have an open campus, so we made very clear to them that they were to close campus for the lunch hour, which we're kind of right on top of.
Okay, how many kids go there about?
About 420.
Okay, and so again, where are they being taken, and what should parents know?
They are being bused over here to our district headquarters, the Blanchard Education Service Center, which is 501 North Dixon. We have chairs set up. We're going to have lunch for them and water, and parents can pick them up here after noon, after 12 noon.
After 12. So, and
parents, we go out to all families, and an auto dialer is going out.
Okay, and for parents who don't know where that is, it's we're across the street from where the Blazers play. That same
neighborhood. Right across the street from the Motor Center.
And how old are these kids about?
They're K through 12, so they're all through. Yep.
And I'm assuming that they heard this. Did you get any reaction from the people that work in that building?
Obviously we have, there's a lot of interest when you see stuff going on and activity in the neighborhood. So they, we went through our normal process and alerting our emergency response team and, communicating very frequently with the principal to make sure that they have what they need. And then we got word that they wanted to evacuate. So we've just been following directions.
All right. Well, Courtney with the Portland Public Schools, thank you so much.
But look at the devastation here as Portland Fire Bureau continues to pour water on this.
Now, we want to check back in again with Brent Weisberg. He's been out there for the last hour or so talking with people who saw what happened and also some of the business owners and seeing the one woman who lived on the top of that building in Saks. Brent, what can you tell us?
Jenny and Dan, good morning to you. I want to bring in Mark Goldsticker. He is a neighbor, lives in this area. Describe what you heard and saw this morning.
I work from home, so I was just sitting at my desk up against the window, and it sounded like a couple bombs went off. And my glass exploded into my apartment, and I sit kind of right there. So it was a little scary. Just grabbed my stuff and ran out.
Describe the scene when you got out of your apartment. What did you see?
The bagel shop was on fire, and we were just told to evacuate towards 22nd.
Describe kind of the scene, the moment immediately afterwards. What did you see firefighters and police doing?
They were just getting everyone out of the way. I was just really shooken up, so I wasn't really paying attention to exactly what they were doing.
How would you describe the force of this explosion?
It was pretty powerful. It felt like my building really shook. It could have been an earthquake. It felt like a bomb went off, so it really shook. It was crazy.
What have neighbors kind of been saying about this whole situation? You've been out here kind of watching the first responders. What's the mood right now like here?
Everyone's just kind of sitting and waiting. We heard that no one died and that there were only a couple injuries, so really happy that people really made it out safe, and that's just really the main concern, that everyone's okay.
Tell me a little bit about the salon itself. It's a well-known landmark in this neighborhood. What do you know about it? And, what would normally this neighborhood be like on a regular day around 9 o'clock?
Pretty quiet. People are generally coming in on Saturday and Sunday to shop and stuff. But, I mean, it was pretty normal day.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Again, that was Mark Goldsticker. He lives in this neighborhood. We've heard from so many people giving us the very same account. We are right now in the intersection of Northwest 22nd and Gleason. This is looking right now towards the Dosha Salon Spa from Northwest 22nd here. As you've heard, as a result of this explosion, that building is completely destroyed. Now, we are trying to get more information about just exactly the cause of what has happened here. From our vantage point, we can still see firefighters dumping water onto this building here. The cause of this is still under investigation, but I can tell you if you live anywhere near this area, you are going to want to avoid it because there is just an enormous amount of first responders here in terms of police, fire, and Northwest Natural Gas on scene. Now, I've been talking to many of the witnesses out here, and they've been describing a very similar scene. They were out here just going about their normal mornings when all of a sudden they heard this just loud explosion, and they were able to feel that explosion, and then they immediately started to run away from the scene, not knowing what has happened. In this live picture here, you can see just the enormous amount of firefighter personnel who are here. They even got their tall ladder that is extended. At one point, they were dumping water onto this explosion scene here. The smoke is, it was a kind of a dirty brown type of smoke. Now we're starting to see some very white smoke, almost like what you would see as with snow. It looks very white. But this smoke has been billowing for quite some time now, and the whole situation here just continues to be one of just trying to get answers. Many of the neighbors in this area don't know really when they are going to be able to go back into their homes. So firefighters have been telling them to simply just move about to let the firefighters and first responders do their